think we can all agree that breathing is, well, pretty important. But here's the thing, most of us are breathing wrong. And that's quietly draining your energy, increasing your pain, and tightening your body. But today, I'm going to show you how to breathe properly so that you can reset your mind and body and experience what it feels like to breathe well. And you won't need any equipment, and we're going to do it together right here, right now. Hi, I'm Adam, and for the last 20 years, I've been helping people with pain and mobility issues by understanding their nervous system. Let's get started. Find a comfortable spot and let's take your first proper breath together. So before we get into any breathing, we want to know where we're currently at so that we can measure how well this has improved us. So a few things we're going to do to assess ourselves. Feet together, we're going to look at a rotation test. That's going to tell us a little bit about how the diaphragm is affecting the rib cage, because the diaphragm attaches to the lower ribs all the way around. Better diaphragm function, we'll see an increase in range left and right, and generally just feel more mobile. So to do this, put the feet together, put the hands out in front, and we're going to rotate slowly round to one side and then the other. What we're not trying to do is use momentum and looking for total range of motion by swinging around. We're looking for that point at where we start to experience a slight increase in the tension in the body as we do that. So I'll show you an example with myself. So if I go nice and slowly round to the left, I'm starting to feel some internal tension there where I'd have to start to pull myself round if I went any further. So 45 degrees to my left, and then, oh, interesting, a little bit shorter to my right. So I've got some work to do there. So the next thing we can do is we can put the hands either on the abdomen or on the rib cage, and we can get a sense of how fast we're breathing. So for me, I'm going to put my hands on the rib cage, just give myself a couple of seconds. And get a sense of how quickly I'm breathing, but also where I'm breathing. Am I breathing more in my left side or on my right side? Whilst we're doing that, we can also get a sense of, am I breathing more down into the abdomen or higher up into the chest, neck and shoulders? Okay, we've got our self-assessment. We know roughly where we're at right now. To start with, the foundation of your breathing is actually going to be your intercostals. Those are the muscles that live between the ribs all the way around the rib cage. Reason being is because the diaphragm is pulling from those ribs because it's attached to the ribs. So we need a nice foundation from which the diaphragm can do its job. Everyone will think about the diaphragm as being the main breathing muscle, and obviously that's correct, but it does need a good solid foundation. So to get the diaphragm, to give the diaphragm a good foundation, we're going to work on the intercostals. And first of all, we're going to work on the intercostals in the upper back. So to do that, we're going to have the hands across the chest. We're going to drop down into a flexed body position. All right, so just slump down through your upper body. Now, we're going to take a big chest breath. So really inflate the chest, but specifically at the back, I want you to feel the ribs opening up and expanding in your upper back. Once you've done that, then we're going to relax, let the breath go. And as you do it, feel any extra range that opens up and move into that. So we're going to be in this flexed position. I'm breathing into my upper back. As I breathe out, I feel there's an ability for me then to fold in on myself a little bit further. I'm not folding forwards from my lower back. I'm literally just folding down on top of myself here. All right. We're going to do that 3 times. Each of these movements we'll do 3 times just to see if we've got any extra range as we do it. Okay. So breathe into that upper back again. Really increasing the size of that rib cage of the upper back. Let it go. That one, not so much. So for me, I wouldn't do a 3rd rep because there's no more range to find. Once we've done 2 to 3 reps in that flexed position, we're going to stay flexed and we're going to come into a laterally flexed or side bent position. Again, you're not forcing anything. You're not trying to find your maximum range where you're pulling against anything. We're just going to the point where there's internal restriction. Okay, so now we're still focused on the upper back, but it's the upper back on my left that I'm doing because I'm side bent right. So it's big breath in. Now all the focus is on this upper right side, and breathe out. You see there's actually quite a bit of increase in range for me there. We're going to do 3 reps. And a third one if needs be, and then we're going to do the same over to the left hand side. So big breath in. Oh yeah, big increase in range there. Yeah, and again, okay, and we could do a third rep there as well if needs be, if we've got more range to find. So the third stage is going to be staying in flexion. We're going to lose the lateral flexion at this point, and we're going to add on rotation. So now you can see the pattern. We're going to take that big chest breath into the upper back. As we let go, is there any increase in rotation? Not really for me, so I'm not going to do any more there. Over to my left, big breath into the chest. And not really any increase in range there. So we're going to couple all of that together now. We're going to go into flexion. We're going to go into a side bend to my right and rotate. We're going to breathe into the upper left. And as I breathe out, is there any increase to the right in flexion and in rotation? And we could do that again, 3 repetitions to see if we've got an increase in range there. So flex, side bend, rotate, big breath into my upper right hand side. Yeah, and I can definitely find more range in 2 of those planes. And that's about all I've got. So that's sort of me done in that upper back. We're going to do the same process for the ribs on the front. So the process for working these intercostals on the front side of the body is we're going to set up in a slightly different position just to help us get the most out of this. We're going to hinge at the hips. We're going to pick the chest up. So we're really thinking about extending from the upper back, all right? Trying not to just bend backwards with the lower back. So picking the chest up as much as we can. So as we breathe in now, we're focusing on expanding the ribs at the front here, okay? So to help with that, you could put your hands like this just to get a feel of it. So it's a big breath in. And then as I breathe out, do I get any more extension as I breathe out? For me, I didn't, so I'm not going to do extra reps there, but you could do up to sort of 3 reps to see if we've got any more thoracic extension available. Then we're going to do the same process again that we did with flexion. So we keep our extended body position, we side bend to one side. We're going to breathe into this left front side. And then as I breathe out, do I get any increase in range? Yes, I get quite a bit. Okay, and that's about my lot there. So I'm going to go over to the other side, big breath in. Yeah. And that was about my lot. So you want to, at this point, you can just relax the lower back because you've been in that extended position. So just give yourself a second, and then we're going to go into extension and we're going to do rotation. All right, so big breath in. Is there any increase? Yeah, a little bit as I rotate. Yeah, a little bit there. not so much to the right, that's about my lot. And then we're going to piece all of that together. So extend, we're going to side bend, and we're going to rotate. Big breath in to this side, and then as we breathe out, we can see whether we've got any increase in range of motion, up to 3 reps. Same again over to the other side. So extend, side bend, rotate, big breath in to the chest, and then up to 3 reps. And we'll see how much extra range we've got in all of those planes. Okay, so we've done the rib cage, we've worked on the intercostals, a lot of those accessory breathing muscles in the intercostals there provided a good foundation for the diaphragm. Now we're going to work on the diaphragm, which is probably the bit that you're really here for. If you're enjoying this so far, do consider clicking the link in the description below and joining the newsletter, where you can keep abreast of all of the bits that we do here at Movement Lifestyle, breathing and other things neurologically oriented. So to work on the diaphragm, we're going to think about pushing the diaphragm down towards the pelvic floor. All right, so probably the thing that people connect with the best is, imagine that you're constipated and you're trying to move a constipated bowel movement. So you're pushing downwards towards the bowel and towards the pelvic floor with that diaphragm. You're not necessarily pushing the abdomen out, although that could happen in this case. We're really just thinking about pushing straight down. Okay, so we're going to use the same format that we've been through in flexion and extension and side bending, but we're going to do that now purely focused with on the diaphragm. So we're going to a flexed position. Okay, now when we're flexed, we're going to push down. We might find that it's easier to get a sense of what's happening at the front here when we're pushing down. When we do the extended version, we'll probably get a sense more of what's happening at the back. So flex down, and then from there we're going to push down, hold for a couple of seconds, relax. Do we get any increase in range? You can see there for me I got quite a bit. So again, pushing down, relax, yeah, and then a third time. Okay, so are you able to fold in on yourself a little more each time? And then we're going to go into the side bend, pushing down. You probably feel this more if you side bent right on your right hand side. We're still flexed, so we're flexed and side bent, and then we do that up to 3 times, and then do the other side. So pushing down, relax. Yeah, okay, so that's about as much as I've got there, and then we can add the rotation on. I didn't actually have any increase in range when I did that one, so I'm not going to do any more reps. And then I'll check the other side, so flex, rotate, pushing down. And again, didn't really have that much increase in range there. And then we're going to couple all of that up. So flexed, side bent, rotated, pushing down, hold for 3 seconds, relax. What increase? Yeah, I've actually got quite a bit of extra there. So go again. More rotation, more side bending, opening up. And we can do a third rep. So same, over to the left, pushing down, hold for a couple seconds, relax, rotate, side bend, and flex a little more, up to 3 reps. So finally, we're going to do the diaphragm, but the posterior diaphragm, so the back portion of the diaphragm here, with that extended setup. So you're going to have the same setup that we did before. You're going to be hinged at the hips. We're going to extend the thoracic spine. Now, what I want you to do, as you push down, I want you to think about pushing. Imagine someone's got their thumbs just underneath the lower ribs there. I want you to imagine that you're pushing that thumb out of the way, okay, or pushing it out behind you, okay? That's going to help you to get a sense of where that diaphragm is pushing down from. So just like we've done, we're going to go into extension. I'm going to put the thumbs there just to give us a sense. Push down. Relax after a couple of seconds. Do I get any increase in range? For me, not that much there, so I probably don't need to do many reps, but we could do again up to 3. Check my extension, side bend, push down, 3 seconds, relax, get a little bit of increase there. I'm going to do 3 reps. 3 reps over to my left hand side. Then you know the drill now. I'm going to do rotation, and then finally we'll do extension, side bend, and rotation all together. There and there. Okay, so working all of those planes together and working that posterior diaphragm. Okay, so we've just done the intercostals, diaphragm, we've done everything 360 degrees. It's time to reassess yourself. Okay, so the first thing we'll do, we'll put the feet together again and we will check our standing rotation test. So for me, to begin with, I had about 45 degrees left. I've now got about 60 degrees. I'm quite a bit further to the left. And yeah, to my right, I've got way more range than I did before. And then we can also check in with pace of breath. And also where we're experiencing that. Is that more on the left, right? We're more even now, hopefully, after doing our drills there. Yeah, I've definitely got more movement through the rib cage on the right, and experiencing it less in the neck. So hopefully you can also get a nice sense of change there with the before and after. Now, I hope you enjoyed that, but more importantly, I hope you can feel the difference in your body, maybe in your posture, in your breathing, obviously, in your sense of calm, and maybe in the tension in the body, or lack thereof, hopefully now. Now, even though you're breathing much better now, your nervous system might still be holding you back from feeling your absolute best. And that's where I come in. I help people rebuild a body they can trust, especially when it feels like it's starting to let them down. If that sounds like you, click the link in the description and book a chat, and we can talk about what's going on and how I might be able to help. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.